So Rabbi Eytan gets up under the chuppah. Rav Shach is standing by his side, and he says, Rosh Hashiva, I need a sinner of the Shema Brachas cards. Rav Shach begins to smile. He says, Rav Chaim, Meseches Shumas, Daf Chesem and Aleph has all the nusach of the Shema Brachas just run through. Rav Chaim Reiser do the pintas. He can tell you Shas, word forward, path, forwards and backwards. What do you need the cards? What do you need the sinner? Just say over Shumas, Daf Chesem and Aleph, and Rav Chaim smiles and he turns to Rav Shach and he says, Ein Charabi. The problem is, if you tell me to start quoting Shumas, Daf Ches, I just won't be able to stop. So Rabbi Eytan, let's turn to Siyata D'Shmai. It's in that famous Gemara, Shumas Daf Ches and Aleph, delineating for us the nusach of the Shema Brachas, the 6 brachas that follow Bekus and the heels of the initial Bori Pri Agafen. So we have 6 brachas, and we don't meet up with Chos and Kala, those choice appellations branded on to the crowning names of Chos and Kala. We don't encounter them until the close of bracha number 6, Sameret the Samach. Then we'll have Chos and Kala. Turning quickly to the final bracha, we'll have Chos and Kala mentioned no fewer than 3 times, and it will conclude Chos and Imakala. But before we witness and observe the 4 mentions of Chos and Kala, what's the only other term? And that's still the only other term. But what l'chayra is the very first description, the choice appellation that we stamp, that we brand atop this bride and groom in front of us. Before we witness a Chos and Kala, zot the nusach of the bracha. Bracha number 6, Samech Samach Reim Ahuv. Juxtaposed to a kfeila solution of thus a hakdoshim yuchedes, a clear emphasis on a double sense of simcha Samech Samach. When, only when the ikvis, you have the Reim Ahuvim, the hiding before we even meet up with them as a Chos and Kala. The very first description Chazal decided to convey to us is what? They are known as Reim Ahuvim. Zot the Heilige Rashi of the Reim Ahuvim Zetzeh. They love one another. And Avada, they love one another. And Avada, we know something in Zion and all of Darish Rabbi Akiva. Ishvi Shazoku Shnei Shui B'nei. They bring the Shekhinah down to the world. And Alpha, of course, is Gematria 13. And Echad is Gematria 13. V'Hagim also Echad. And the Chasad loves the Kala. And the Kala loves the Chasad. You have the sense of reciprocity, 13 and 13 going both ways, 26. You bring the Shem Havaya down into the world. Those are the Reim Ahuvim. Those are the Reim Ahuvim Zetzeh. But it beckons our scrutiny. How precisely should we be magir this lofty ideal, this concept, this unique appellation of Reim Ahuvim? So let's understand what exactly the word Reis connotes. Now let's turn to a gewaldige Rafunder, the Rashiva Chaim Bolin, and Pachar Yitzchak, Igor Siksovin, and Igor Peizayin. He takes us to Ramban. Well, let's start the Ramban in his Rosh Hashanah. You want to take a tekiah, you break up a tekiah, and you break it into numerous pieces. What results? The upshot is a teruah, a broken up tekiah, because the sense of Reishai, and that Shorish etymology, connotes a sense as we turn momentarily to Tehillim Kipto Beis Pasuk Tes. Teruah Meshavet Barzel, break my enemies apart with a steel rod. Teruah, separate the tekiah into disparate components. A ruah, shepherd, is one who collects the broken, separated pieces of the flock and unites them into an ensuing harmony. That's the ruah. A reah, my friend. What's a friend? A friend is a broken up piece of another yid. Because of the Heilige Rabbah, the holiest sword of Shavuos. Lamatzesam and Aleph that call Yisrael Revim Zebah says Novei, it emanates from the fact that all of God's Klal Yisrael, we emanate from what Shorish Nishras Knesses Yisrael. As the Neshamakas, we're all broken up pieces of one another. But we started as one gargantuan neshama that encompassed therein all the myriad sundry components that emerged from which emerged God's Klal Yisrael. We're all reim, therefore we're broken up pieces of one another. And your ultimate broken up piece, your best friend in the world, Kedushin, Memau from an Aleph, also Mekadosh Ishat Shireno, Shema Timtzim Adav Magudu Niskana Ma'ila Sharon Hatal Reya Chakamocha. Who is your Reya of? Who is your best friend in the world? Your other half. You're not complete without the wife, the spouse, by your side. Your Reya, your Etzem, one Neshamachas that was separated subsequently into 2. Zok the Vilna Golan and Adar Saliyah, Zok the Malbim and Atarim and Mitzvah, Zok the Yitzakai, Zachamer Tziach Yitzchak. Every species throughout this spectrum of the animal kingdom. If we take a brief scrutiny of the gamut of all the animal species out there, they all come into the world as two separate, mutually exclusive Zocher and Nekeva. Mashenkin, when it comes to mankind, when it comes to Adam, we took the Ksuvas Chesem and all the brachas of Samachalaf and all Zocher and Nekeva Baram. They were made initially at the outset as one homogeneous entity, one single unified cohesive whole that was broken up into two. The higher you're going into marriage, you gotta find your other half. You gotta find the missing piece. You're not interested. Ben Shonasei L'chum Ben Omasei Chavalef and then Kedushin Chavtes and Meis Ben Esem Lirdo based on the famous mission at the end of the Perk. You're not interested in running after Zok Rizal. What did the Gemara say? Tikva Chatzmoisa. Why is Zok Rizal L'kuti Yashas Rizal? You're not searching for your missing bone. You're not interested in your missing etzem. Then Mida Kenegavida Tikva Chatzmoisa. You'll need the remaining atzomas within you to fill the void of that etzem that you don't seem to be interested in pursuing. You need your other half. You need your shleimus ayadei the reya on by your side. She is your other half. That's the Zohar Vayikra. Duchra plagufa migri. You're incomplete. Yes, we know the old joke. Before you get married, you're incomplete. Once you get married, you're finished. But at the end of the day, your mamish not metaphysically finished until what? Until you have that spouse by your side. She is your other half. He is the other part of you. And thus, yes, Shuvas Tafyuna remains Amona Hashem. She gets Amona in the Ksuva. Yes, Radak and Sefer Shemoshim Amona Lashanile. She is utterly reticent without anyone with whom to converse in the home. But from Medla Murdinak Sala Hakabola Pashas Yisrael. Amona is Mimoshin. Almona, a contraction of two distinct words. Almona, she's missing a piece of herself. She's missing a cheleg. Some of Kuberman is a mavot to the Beir Sheksava Kabbalah Al Torah, quoting the Heilig and Rosh Hashira Chaim Shalevitz. And Almona is not missing someone outside of her. She's missing an etzem, piece of herself, of her cheleg, of her etzem ahus. Marriages are looking for someone, not someone, my Masher. Yes, Masher, some of the base of an Almai Kamtin and Chesna base, and yes. Not young Cody says, well, but I need someone to be mashlim. I need someone with whom I can work. To be mashlim myself. Yes, as Rafahi told us. Avodas ha'odam starts by the announcement to bring yourself to shleimus, always shining, always growing. And knowing all the while you cannot be complete until you find the one by your side. And you have to make it an avodah mamish. To come behind the to reach an Indian of shleimus. To become Zochar and Nekeva Baram, to become one yet again. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of sacrifice. And thus the Marami Prague writes in a number of places. We have a well-known Gemara Sanhedrin Chabbeis and Beis. Takes the sites in Ksuvas Daftalim Nalak Tima Maska Bobi Las Mitzvah. Anisha Karesas Bristle Anisha Osa Klishan Amarki Volai Chosayach. The height of the Krisas Bris is the fascinating terminology coined by Chazal, telling us, you know what marriage is? A Krisas Abris, friend of Maral. Krisas Abris, you need Koris, I'm adding someone into my life. No. So the Heilig Maral V'Kaladukti. Marriage is defined first and foremost as a Krisas Bris, because you can only get married when you realize it's an avoda, and it's incumbent upon each and every one of us to find the Basher to be mashlim ourselves. But the only way you can do that is you have to cut off a piece of yourselves first. Recognizing that I can't get to shleimus unless I find that missing piece and we work together. And I sacrifice and I give up and I don't live a selfish life. If I'm Koresh and it's a chelik of who I am, of my identity, I'm willing to live selflessly, I'm willing to shed, to jettison that ego, then and only then can I enter into a healthy, successful, productive marriage. And you should caress his bris by many the biggest decision you'll ever make in your life. And why do we call it a decision? It originates in the Latin root side, suicide, homicide, infanticide, cutting off. A decision, you make a decision, you have to cut off a piece of yourself. And in order to get married, you have to undergo a maisa krisis. Zok Heilig Maral, to be mashlim yourself. And that takes work. If you want a healthy marriage, you have to learn to make sacrifices. You have to be willing to give up. You have to view it, the mabat, the perspective has to be one. Mandated is that I view it as an avodah mamash. I go into it as an avodah. I have to take that one day, Mr. Simple. I have to be mash myself, and I'm going to work incessantly, perpetually. I'm cutting all pieces of myself. I can't go all the places I used to go. I can't do all the things I used to do. I have to pick up my laundry. I have to help out with the dishes. I have to make sacrifices. sacrifices in Zman. A Talmud came to Rapikus years ago and he said, Rebbe, I was such a masrid. Mamish, the paradigmatic masrid. I sat here with Malayla when I was a bocher in yeshiva. I sat until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And now I got married on Wednesday night. And my wife says, date night must continue. Date night continues. I thought I finished Shidduchim. I still have to spend time. I got to play Scrabble with her. Moti Shabbos Malavamalka. I want some shot. I'm ready. Bittul Torah. Zokto Pinkis Bittul Torah. Chalila. There's a reason Rabbi Akiva told us in Sotah Yadayim and Aleph Dorish Rabbi Akiva, Ish v'ish zochu shchina shui b'neim, lo zochu ish ochosad. If you say in this hour that shui b'neichem, then you bring the shchina mamish into the bias. It's a rendezvous with the shchina kavayocho. Bittul Torah, Chalil Machas, you're playing the game of Scrabble. I'm playing the game of Scrabble. I'm with the Malavamakal, L'shem Shamayim, L'shem Mitzvah Shalom Bayis. And your mom is playing with Kaviyoko, the Shekhinah is right there with you. And he's telling you better let her win. Because we know the 3 most important words are in a marriage. We know it's I love you. No, that's not true. It's I am sorry. No, that's not true. Right at the top is I was wrong. Yes, that's very true. But at the very top of the list, she's always right. But it's an avodah. And if we want to understand the essence of this avodah, let's go back to the ultimate chasana. Because the ultimate chasana was when we got married to HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol. Let's rewind to Matan Torah over 3,300 years ago. We had a Matan Torah where once Matan Torah, the terminology, the choice wording that was penned by Chazal, and the Nusach HaTfilah, when you're machlut something is Mados, is what it's not. There's a Shula Kluger, it's Medayik in his Rosh, it's not there, so Moshe Shapiro, and the figure Mike, it's not Simon Kabbalah Satira. Rabbi Say, I hate to break it to you, we didn't get the Torah Shavuos time. It's merely Zman Matan Torah Seinu. So what do we celebrate? We're celebrating entering an eternal covenantal relationship with the Borei Olam Kaviyachol. We got married to Hashem Yisbar Kaviyachol, the Oren Abris, the Luchas Abris, the Sefer Abris, Nochol, the Dam Abris. We had a hopefully American Yiyas, and you all know the famous Makne. Other Pinchas Levi Horowitz in 2 places in his aflo. Alphanortic Shivas Dam Zayin, I'm amazed when we start the Shigir Shevrach, the Saturn Hakdama, the Sefer Makne, and Kedushin, and Oz Gimel, the Orch HaShulchan as well. Ebenezer Simon Ramadalin and Sipelne. Hopefully American Yiyas was the metaphorical, the figurative canopy. That was the Chumah we got married to the Eibushter in our Sinai. You know why the Eibushter Kaviyachol kept us there for a year? Because up the morale in 2 places, Gorania, Yenemor, and Nachamo, and Gorania, Balaisla. Chassan has to be Mizmech, Kala, Shanu, Shaina. Eibushter says, I'll keep you at the Pimat of Sinai for a year, because I got married to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And here we have Pashas Yisro, the marriage, 72 psukim revolving around the centerpiece. We got married to the Eibushter, the title of the Maisa didn't make its way into our hands. It wasn't tangible. It's man matan, not man kabbalah, so to say. But we're celebrating something far more profound. We're celebrating getting married to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they asked the Briskarav, what's the chiluk, the distinction between your Tati Rav Chaim and the other Gedolah Yisrael? He says everybody else, Brachos and Zayin and Aleph, Torah Tzivalan and Marasha, Tikri, Marasha and Marasa, all the other Gedolah, they're engaged to the Torah. My Tati Rav Chaim is married to the Torah. So 1 and 1, a chayfetz of Torah. We got married to the Borei Olam, and thus we have 72 psukim of Parshas Yisro. And we make our way towards the end of Parshas Yisro, and we're expecting, if we're going to say anything about commencing a construction of the grand edifice called the Mishkan, if you're going to start with any kli, what should be the kli? That should meet our eyes at the close of Yisro. We should expect to bump into the Asiyas Aaron, the B'niyas Aaron. I'm sorry, we're going to have to be patient. That's the cliffhanger. We're going to have to wait not long, but 2 parshas until we approach the outset of Parshas Truma. So here we have Yisro, we have Zman Matan Torah Seinu. What's the culmination of that parsha? It's to build the Mizbeach Adama, build the Mizbeach. Why a Mizbeach? Because the whole Indian Matan Torah, the Phoenix idea was what? Was the sacrifice. David gave up his greatest gift, Kilakato. Nasati Lachem Tarosi Al Tazovu. Hey, Tony Vela Torah Shanamar and Mishlei Dalabasi Lekato. That's the Gemara Brokos Dafayim and Aleph. That's the greatest gift. That's the Medrash Shros Rama. Let me give him an Aleph that David gave us a piece of himself, Kaliyoko. He gave up and we give up. Avodah Zarah says Kedushin Lamed Beis. Eibishter gives up, we give up, and thus we get married through the conduit, the vehicle of Torseinu HaKadosh. We conclude with the Mizbeach because that's the Makam Avoda. That's what Kaviyachos sends an Eish Milamala, and we produce an Eish Milamata. There's a Chibur of Shamayim and Oretz of Ayonim Tachtonim of the Bari Olam Kaviyachos with us down here. Yadei the Eish, and Rabbi says, is not at all coincidental. We turn to the end of the Second Skidin, Sadi Yamad Beis, Omer Lazar, Hamikari Shish Rishona, Mizbeach is Yori, all of the most. Why the Mizbeach Medavko? It's so Gishmak because it's a Mizbeach that represented the Yom Yomi, the daily occurrence, the open manifestation of the Chibur of the Eibishter with us, of Ayonim Tachtonim, Shamayim and Oretz, Eish Melamala, Eish Melamata, Eish Eish, Ish Isha, Sota Yitzayin, the Chibur, the fusion, that synthesis of the Eish from above, uniting and merging, fusing with the Eish from below. That's Eish and Eish, that's the Mizbeach. But if there's a couple that Rahman al gets divorced, and it's Dafka the Mizbeach that's yoring the most and extinguishes the flame atop the Mizbeach, but that's what it is in Avodah. Marriage is an Avodah and life is an Avodah. We have to be willing to sacrifice, put those phones away. Put those emails away. When you're home, you're home. And mindfulness demands, I'm here in the moment with my wife, with my children, and there's nothing else that's going to steal my kavana. Going to focus achtarak on the wonderful family members right here in front of me right now. And you might have a lot to do, but that's what marriage is, it's sacrifice. And that's what life is all about. Writes the Medrash Shul of Pirkei Avos, let's go to the last line. The departing message from the 5 original Prukim that comprised Pirkei Avos until they subsequently added on a collection of rices called Perikin and Torah. The initial 5 chapters of Pirkei Avos came to a close with none other than a Gavin Hayes stepping up the center stage and sharing with the world 3 succinct words, but I with a potent, powerful message. That's what life is all about. No pain, no gain. You want to accomplish in life, you got to schwitz, you got to put in the blood, sweat, and guts. You want Torah, brachas. Sama Gimel Beis, yes. Main Torah Miskayemes Elisha Mavis Atzvaleh. You want Torah, you got to sacrifice for it. You want a good marriage, it doesn't come easy, you got to work for it. So Mahalik Gazedi said, when you get married, you make sure that you're going to have an Ava Rabbah, a Simcha Yasera, Yedidus and Amana, greater than yesterday, but never ever as much as tomorrow. Always to enhance it, always to augment it, always to work incessantly, day in and day out. I can make it bigger and greater. It's an Avodah, but I got to be willing to sacrifice. You want to accomplish your life. Sacrifice, that means put away the phone, put away the emails. That means right now your family is top priority when they occupy center stage. Let them feel it, let them sense it, that you're here in the moment with them. Now, like the boy who said to his father, Tati, I want a phone for my birthday. And the father said, sure, what phone do you want? You tell me. He says, Tati, I want your phone. Why do you want my phone? So I could take it, throw it onto the floor, the cement, as hard as I can, and smash it into 1,000,000 pieces. Put away those phones. Avada, when you walk into a shul, a base Knesset space medrash, and yes, when you walk into a mikdash ma'at, and when you walk into the bayis where the Shechina dwells, it's you, your spouse, and the Shechina. Put away those phones and emails. Give up a little bit, sacrifice. You're not having the best day. Show her that smile, show her that love. Make sure that house is infused with the Gevaldige Simcha. There's an argument, try and take it out of the house. Go for a drive. The bias has to be Malei, Ava, Simcha. And you do this Namana before we get to Chosim Kalo. You have to start with what? Re'im Ahuvim. And then you get to Chosim Kalo. And what's Chosim Kalo about? Zot Yitzchak Zurstein Tuvcha Yabiu and Chelik Beis Daf Kuf Chav Gimel. He quotes his Heilige Brother the Sarah Torah Chaim Kanersky Chosid as Miloshin Chayis Mischanes Moli V'Gonish. He's saturated with Chaim Kalo. Yirmiyah Per Beis Prosik Beis Alas Kalulos Seich, an all-encompassing love. Kalulos Ava Rabba Avas Kalulos Seich and Chaim. That's Chosim Kalo. You know when you get there, when you first traverse the bridge of Re'im Ahuvim, knowing that you're broken up pieces that are now merging and fusing. Krisas bris, be willing to sacrifice. You give up your time with your friends, and yes, sometimes it has to be together, Bitula Shetumar Zili Yasoda, but it's about merging your night as one, Israel Mahuvim, and Beis Hashem Yisborach. We should go ahead and keep working, viewing those marriages as an emistic avoda. We're going to give it all we've got. Tein Baruchnius, Fahim Begashmius, and the Beis Hashem Yisborach. The Eibusher Kavioch will bring us from the Mashiach Tzedekenu back to where we all belong, the ultimate bias. Tiso, the not just Mikdash Shmach, but the Binyamayim Shlishi, with all the Re'im Ahupim, the Beis Hashem Yisborach B'Karo. If you need a great date place to take your wife, I got the best idea for you. It's called the Aguda Convention, Shnas Tav Shin Pei Gimel. Take your wife here, and you got the Torah, and you got the Gashmias. They tell me the food's a little bit good too. Enjoy the Ruchnias, enjoy the Gashmias. This is the best date place, because this is where through Gedolah Yisrael we unite with the Torah. And the Eibusher like never before. Enjoy your date tonight, Thursday night. 4 consecutive nights. Enjoy the Gavaldic enhancement to your Shalom Bayis. Have an amazing night. Hatzlach and bracha for an uplifting, meaningful Geshmak.